Hello and welcome to the session on mental health. Today we will discuss the concept, its relevance and characteristics and its relation to school. Would you like to understand the concept of mental health? Health is often used to refer to a state of physical, mental, social and spiritual well-being of the individual. Thus, mental health is one of the components of the broad concept of health. It is concerned with an optimum level of emotional and behavioral adjustment of the individual. It is a state of maintaining harmony or balance between the needs, desires, aspirations and attitudes of the individual with respect to the prevailing conditions in the external environment. What today is broadly understood by mental health can have its origins tracked back to developments in public health, in clinical psychiatry and in other branches of knowledge. In 1948, the WHO, World Health Organization, was created, and in the same year the first International Congress on Mental Health took place in London. At the second session of the WHO's Expert Committee on Mental Health and mental hygiene were defined as follows. Mental hygiene refers to all the activities and techniques which encourage and maintain mental health. Mental health is a condition subject to fluctuations due to biological and social factors which enables the individual to achieve a satisfactory synthesis of his own potentially conflicting instinctive drives to form and maintain harmonious relations with others and to participate in constructive changes in his social and physical environment. However, a clear and widely accepted definition of mental health as a discipline was still missing. Significantly, the Durand's Medical Dictionary does not carry an entry on mental health, whereas the Campbell's Dictionary of Psychiatry gives it two meanings. First, as a synonym of mental hygiene and second, as a state of psychological well-being. The Oxford English Dictionary defines mental hygiene as a set of measures to preserve mental health and later refers to mental health as a state. In addition, given this polysemic nature of mental health, its delimitation and relation to psychiatry is not always clear. There is a more or less widespread effort to set mental health at least aside from psychiatry and at most as an over-changing concept which encompasses psychiatry. Mental health covers an elusive and diffuse field, and the term itself encompasses a multiplicity of meanings. For our purpose, the various definitions of mental health can be grouped into three categories such as medical, a psychological or a social phenomenon. The confusion in definition is compounded by the overlapping and merging of the three positions. Mental health as a medical phenomenon. This orientation to mental health carries thinking about biophysiological phenomena and particularly the conception of systems, that is, groups of body organs and parts that together perform one or more vital functions. In medicine, judgment of an individual's health status is made on the basis of an assessment of the adequacy of functioning of these systems. Individual patients' responses are considered against supposedly usual or typical reactions, and sufficient and pattern deviation from these norms leads to a description of him as ill. Mental health too, in its most rudimentary medical meaning, denotes that an individual's psychic system functions at a level deemed satisfactory. In making judgments about the health of an individual, it is necessary to take into account his total functioning, for the malfunctioning of part of a system may be compensated by other body mechanisms. A system functions satisfactorily so long as it is homeostatic, and illness is either the lack of or instability of such a balance. Mental health as a psychological phenomenon. While indeed there is much overlap between the medical and psychological approaches to mental health, there are discernible differences. The focus of psychology has been on the formulation of general laws, and this while the physician's primary focus has been on the deviant or the ill, much of the psychologist's interest is on mental illness. Certainly in clinical practice, psychologists find it necessary to order persons along a continuum. It is at this point in the field of mental health that the medical and psychological orientations become inextricably involved. Whereas the sick well continuum dominates the medical orientation, an abnormal normal continuum characterize the psychological approach. Most of the efforts to measure mental health have ended up as attempts to operationalize medical criteria of mental illness. Nevertheless, the current thinking regarding positive definitions of mental health, according to researchers including individual's attitude toward himself, realization of potential, unification of function, independence of social influences, conception of the world, resilience and mastery of life. Mental health as a social phenomenon. A third approach to mental health is that which regards mental health as a social phenomenon. Unlike the medical and psychological emphasis on intra-psychic functioning, the social approach focuses primarily on overt behavior. One order of assessment of mental health according to social criteria is provided by measures of performance in social roles. This consists of estimates of the extent to which individuals follow and respond to the community's normative prescriptions and expectations of appropriate behavior in roles related to occupation and work, social participation, use of leisure and family relations. Now let us proceed to discuss the relevance and characteristics of mental health. The term mental hygiene is closely related to mental health. We use the term hygiene to refer to keeping one and one's living and working areas neat and clean in order to prevent illness and diseases. When we extend this concept to the domain of mind, it stands for the art of developing, maintaining and promoting necessary behavioral, emotional and social skills to sustain good, effective and efficient mental health. One can achieve this by following some basic strategies at mental and behavioral levels in one's daily life. These are described here. At first is the reality contact. In order to maintain good and sound mental health, it is important to have a realistic appraisal of one's own reactions, emotions and abilities. If you are in touch with reality, you may be able to avoid a number of disappointments and frustrations in your daily life. Next is impulse control. A person with healthy adjustment would have good control over his or her behaviors and impulses. So, in order to maintain good mental health, it is necessary that you should be in complete control over your impulsive behaviors. Still another one is the self-esteem. The awareness about oneself is called self-concept. It includes all the statements about I or me expressed in terms of feelings, beliefs and values. The self-concept is sum total of all that a person is aware about his or her own self. Self-esteem is the evaluative component of self. The personal evaluation of self could be either positive or negative. A sense of personal adequacy or positive self-concept is essential for mental health. Then another one is the positive thoughts. The quality of mental health depends on whether we direct our thoughts in positive or negative ways. Negative thoughts generate negative emotions such as anger, hate, jealousy, fear and despair. The effect of such negative emotions on our mind is unhealthy. They also harm the endocrine system. Therefore, in order to maintain good mental health, we need to develop the power of positive thinking which generates positive emotions such as love, joy, happiness, hope, compassion, empathy and optimism in us. Such emotions strengthen our capacity to cope with various life challenges. In order to understand mental health in a better way, you are required to know the meaning of mental ill health and mental illness. Mental ill health is defined as the absence of the qualities of positive mental health in the individual. For example, if someone among you often displays negative feelings and attitudes about others, you can assume that this person is displaying the characteristics of mental ill health. Mental illness is a broad term which includes almost all the disorders of behavior which are caused by faulty perception, emotion, thinking and attitude. Such individuals have problems in making adjustment with others in the society. Are you eager to know about the indicators or signs of poor mental health? Here are they. Haphazard and disorganized daily life routine, short-tempered and irritating behavior, anger and aggressive behavior, restlessness, increased or poor appetite and indigestion, irregular sleeping patterns such as insomnia, disturbed sleep or narcolepsy, that is excess sleep, poor interpersonal relationships, anxiety and worry, negative attitude towards self and others, withdrawing from relationships, irregular and abnormal physiological conditions, for example, blood pressure, heart palpitation and pulse rate, excessive use of drugs, example alcohol, tranquilizers and hallucinogens, cigarette smoking and use of tobacco in other forms. The described things may cause threat to mental health. If an individual is frequently involved in such behaviors or remains in a particular state for a long period, then it is more likely that he or she may develop various kinds of mental disorders. It is very important to know about the behaviors which sustain mental health. In modern life, scientific and technological advances have created many facilities for comfort. However, if we develop dependency on them, our lifestyle becomes very sedentary and fragile. In order to overcome the risk involved in such a life, we should observe certain precautions and engage in behaviors which promote and sustain good health. Ayurveda, the science of Indian medicine, deals with 4 aspects of lifestyle which can ensure good health in us. These include right food, that is Ahara, right recreation, that is Vihara, right routine, that is Achara, and right thinking, that is Vichara. Observing certain practices ensures a healthy and happy life. Let us examine each of these aspects in some detail. At first, we will discuss food, that is Ahara. Food is the most important aspect of life. Compared to non-vegetarian food, vegetarian food is safe and invigorating for a healthy body. For better health, one must eat fresh fruits and vegetables with enough fiber content. Oily, spicy, junk and processed food causes obesity, hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, gastric ulcer and even cancer. Our daily food should contain green vegetables, fresh fruits, beans, honey, curd, milk, butter, oil which provide enough of vitamins, minerals, iron, antioxidants and fibers. In addition, there should be a balanced proportion of each category of food in our daily intake. We should also maintain fixed meal times. Chewing food properly and eating in controlled manner are good for health. The second one is routine or Achara. Routine consists of 3 kinds of activities in which an individual indulges in. These are taking food and doing activities as per the seasonal demands called Ritucharya. It means taking food and doing activities in accordance with the seasons. We must eat and act according to the characteristics of seasons. Thus, in summer, we should take light food containing little oil but plenty of fluids such as curd, fruit juice, rice curry and beans. During the winter and autumn seasons, sweet and salty food can be taken in larger quantities such as milk products, vegetable soup, ghee, rice and oily food. During the spring season, light food with a less content of oil should be taken such as preparation containing gram and rice. During the rainy season, food with astringent, acidic, salty and sweet taste are taken. Day routine, that is Dinacharya, and night routine, that is Ratricharya, refer to eating and doing activities according to the time of day and night. One should get up early in the morning before sunrise. Drinking water should be the first act after waking. It ensures smooth excretion of body waste and is a sure remedy for constipation. After excretion of fecals and cleaning of teeth, massage of the body should be done before taking bath. Thus, there should be proper time for each and every activity in the cycle of 24 hours. The third one is recreation or Vihara. Doing exercise and morning walk are the most important components of recreation. It makes the body light and strong. It increases the immunity, resistance power of the body and capability to work. During exercise, toxins of the body are excreted with perspiration. It increases the appetite of the individual. The health problems such as heart disease and diabetes are also controlled by daily exercise. Exercise delays the aging process and prevents impotence. It helps in purifying blood as the increased intake of oxygen and expulsion of carbon dioxide helps removal of dead cells from the body. Recreational activities like music also help in maintaining good health. The fourth one is thinking Vichara. Sound and positive mental health can only be maintained with right kind of thinking. A person who is mentally fit and healthy has self-satisfaction, accommodative intellect, ability to accept criticism, understanding of the emotional needs of others and self-control. Such individuals are neither driven by greed or lust nor dominated by fear, anger, attachment, jealousy, guilt or worry. On the social front, an individual with a positive thinking enjoys good friendships and earns respect from everybody. Thus, an individual can maintain a sound, healthy and happy life if she or he follows the above health promotion behavior. In this context, a discussion on mental health in school is inevitable. Since a healthy body is the most essential element in determining mental health, there should be provision for play activities, physical exercise and regular medical checkup in schools. Unhealthy competitions leading to the acquisition of jealousy, hatred, etc. and that should be checked. Favoritism and unfavorable comparison should be avoided. In the classroom, a democratic climate should be maintained. Students should be given opportunities for self-expression. They should be helped to face and solve their problems with patience and tolerance. Avoid corporal punishment and encourage self-discipline in the democratic line. Psychological and scientific methods of teaching will automatically create mental health in the children. Mental health of student is very much influenced by mental health of teachers. Mental health of the teacher is much more important than the mental health of the student. If a teacher is not sound in his mental health, he cannot do justice to his students and cannot provide guidance for solving their problems. His maladjustment may have adverse effect on children. Therefore, it is essential to understand the causes of maladjustment of teachers also and to take remedial measures. There are so many programs to improve mental health of teachers. Improving teacher-teacher relation is very important. The success of the school depends upon the cooperation of teachers. The school should provide better environment for creating goodwill among the teachers, for which frequent meetings to discuss the problems and clarify misunderstanding should be held. Another thing is improving teacher-headmaster relations. There is a tendency on the part of the headmaster as well as teachers to blame each other for any failure in the functioning of the school. The headmaster can do a lot of things in order to avoid such a situation and to improve the relations. He should be a friend and guide to his colleagues. Another important thing is arranging in-service courses. The school should arrange in-service courses for teachers to refresh their knowledge of the subjects concerned as well as to familiarize them with innovative methods of teaching. They should be provided with library and laboratory facilities. Conducting seminar is very important. Periodical seminars should be arranged for discussing problems of education. It will provide opportunity of knowing the points of view of other workers in the field through mutual discussion. They keep the teachers abreast with the new trends and developments in the field of education and also provide them with an opportunity to develop a feeling of belonging with the institution as well as the programs. Providing service security is very important. Rules and regulations should be framed to check the exploitation of teachers by private managements who quite often terminate the services of the teachers to satisfy their ego and due to personal prejudices. The teacher should feel secure of his service. Improving teacher-community relation is also very important. The usual criticism about teachers is that wide gaps exist between them and the community. Close relations should be established by community so that the isolation disappears. Let me summarize the session. This chapter provides an idea about mental health. It includes three major headings like concept of mental health, relevance and characteristics of mental health, and mental health in school. Mental health covers an elusive field and the term itself encompasses a multiplicity of meanings. For our purpose, the various definitions of mental health can be grouped into three categories such as medical, a psychological or a social phenomenon. The confusion in definition is compounded by the overlapping and merging of the three positions. The term mental hygiene is closely related to mental health. We use the term hygiene to refer to keeping one and one's living and working areas neat and clean in order to prevent illness and disease. Since a healthy body is the most essential element in determining mental health, there should be provision for play activities, physical exercise and regular medical checkup in schools. Now you can try to answer the questions given here. The first question, define mental health as a medical phenomenon. The second one, what are the signs of poor mental health? Third question, briefly discuss 4 lifestyles of Ayurveda to improve health. The fourth one, how to improve teachers' mental health. Hope that you may go through the reference books listed here for further understanding. First book, No Health Without Mental Health by Martin Prince et al. The Lancet, India, 2007. Abnormal Psychology, An Integrative Approach, 2nd Canadian edition by D.H. Barlow, V.M. Durand and S.H. Steward. Nelson Publication, Toronto, India, 2009. Thank you for watching this program. We can meet again with another topic. Till then, take care.